Welcome back. This is part 3 of me talking about guitars that are owned by my friend Will, and I keep forgetting to say it, but I keep putting it in the captions anyway. Go check out his YouTube channel if you've got a minute after this. He interviews a bunch of local bands, you might find some new music. At any rate, he does a lot for helping young bands sort of get out there in the scene, so go show him some love. Anyway, if you've seen the past couple videos where I've talked about his guitars, you might have noticed he likes black Ibanez guitars. This is an Ibanez Destroyer from 1995. It was made in Japan in the Fujijin factory. These were only made for 1 year. It's the model number DT400. It's a wicked guitar. Comes in 2 colors. Candy apple red, or once again, black. And these were actually only sold in Japan as well. I'm not exactly sure how it's made its way to New Zealand, but I'm glad it did because now I get to play it and talk about it. And it's really cool. Let's play and then we'll talk. Alright, so we're starting off in the neck pickup today because the bridge pickup is actually not original. So that's fine. Let's talk about this thing. First of all, the looks. What a cool shape. I love this little bit over here with the little spiky bit and this other one on the lower horn's really rad. Someone in the comments gonna be like, it needs a reverse headstock. Reverse headstock would be cool, I'll admit it. Anyway, we've got a basswood body. We've got a maple neck. It's a one-piece neck. Not that you'd know, because once again, it's black. It's a rosewood fretboard with these abalone and mother of pearl inlays, big block inlays, Gibson style. And obviously we've got a bit of Gibson influence going on with this thing because it is 24 3/4 inch scale. It's got 22 frets. It's got a 12-inch radius, and it's got a lot of binding. Binding around the fingerboard, binding on the headstock, binding around the body. The other thing I should say about this guitar is that it has seen some action. It does have a lot of little dings and scrapes. I believe one of the previous owners had a fondness for big spiky bracelets, you know? So it's seen some wear and tear, but it's as solid as ever and as old as me, which is older than I'd like to admit, and holding up beautifully. Plays fantastically in spite of its age and in spite of being treated maybe slightly roughly. I wouldn't say abused, but it's seen some spiky bracelets. Let's play a little bit more. I'm gonna put it onto the bridge pickup, which is not original. It's a Seymour Duncan, but my mate says he doesn't know what it is. Either way, it sounds cool. Let's do some stuff. Okay, so in terms of hardware, a lot of the times you'll hear people talk about like, oh, you get a cheap guitar, one of the first things you should do is upgrade the tuners. Well, these are Goto tuners. They're close to 30 years old and they feel brand new. So that's something good to bear in mind. Big check on the tuner front. In terms of the bridge, we got a quick change tailpiece obviously and a Gibraltar 2 bridge, which I've never actually seen before, this particular version of it. And it had me bamboozled for a little while because we've got the normal thumb screws on here to adjust the height, but there's also plain old screws in the top that stop the bridge from moving. So it's very secure and it feels actually really nice and smooth. I really like this. Also on the saddles, we've got both the intonation adjustment screws and more screws in the top of them so that you can loosen this screw, adjust the intonation, and then screw that back down and it's not going anywhere. It's a bit over-engineered, but I really like over-engineered stuff, so that's actually fine with me. So we got these Sure Grip knobs, and I feel like after almost 30 years, the rubber on these would kind of be wearing out, but it actually feels really good, which is quite impressive if you ask me. This thing came with Ibanez Quantum 2 pickups. As I said, this one's now a Seymour Duncan something, we don't know, but it sounds good. And the neck, I believe, is the original one, but I could be wrong. The thing that kind of throws me off a little bit about this guitar though is the 2 volume knobs and 1 tone knob. And that's mostly just because I'm really used to having 1 volume knob right here, and that turns everything off. But right now, if I've got this volume knob turned up and the tone knob turned up, obviously, and this one turned down, but I'm on the bridge, I can still hear the bridge. So I have to turn that one down to turn the bridge down. But I guess you could do some like kill switchy kind of stuff with this. That's not my thing, but you could do it. So yeah, the thing I've come to like more and more about having 2 volume knobs is that you can hit this middle position and get some quite interesting tonal combinations by controlling the volume of the pickups individually. Obviously, Les Paul players know this already, that's kind of the thing, but what I realized when I was actually just getting to know this guitar is that you can add a lot of clarity by having one pickup just slightly turned on with the other one sort of on full bore if you're using a lot of distortion. So I've kicked over to a much heavier sounding patch, and if I give you sort of some bridge sounding stuff, Like that type of thing. Obviously, it's super high gain. We're on the bridge, as you'd kind of expect. If I flick it to the middle position and add just a little bit of neck pickup in, find that there's just like a bit more clarity in the notes, and it's quite a nice way to just give yourself a bit more depth. You know, almost like running your pickup in parallel instead of series, or almost like having a coil split kind of thing going on. Of course, the other quirk about having two volume knobs and being in middle position is if you turn either one of them all the way down, the guitar's off. So if I've got this pickup turned up all the way and this one a little bit as I was just doing, and I play, we've got full volume. But if I accidentally strum and hit that little knob and turn it off, that might be an issue. Anyway, this is a cool guitar. I'm really glad to have it and chat about it, even though it feels like an old guitar and that makes me feel old. Old things are cool. If you're still watching at this point in the video, let me know if you've got one of these. Let me know if you've got any cool stories about it, because this is a wicked guitar that I feel like would be at home on a lot of different types of stages, and I'm just kind of interested. So yeah, let me know. I'm all about the community thing, you know? I make a video, you reply, you make a comment, I reply to the comment, blah, 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 blah. It's fun. That's what makes this a bit more worthwhile for me, because it feels like I'm not just putting things into the infinite void of YouTube guitar people and then just, I don't know, doing that. I'll play a little bit more now. That's enough talking. Thanks for checking in. I'll see you next time. And thanks again to Will for lending me this. If you haven't done it already, look at his channel. It's good. You won't regret it.